except where them hands, where them holes, where them throws, you know what I'm saying? Cecil.
I have a bit of a credibility problem being a man and telling young women things that they should do in terms of self defense. Part of it is because, a lot of women are going to feel like, well, he's a man. What did he know? He can't tell me anything. And there's this thing, too, I have with people where they look like, or they think that I was just always a big, large, strong dude. And like I was never weak. Like I was never vulnerable. Like I can never be vulnerable. And like I can never be abused. Or like I was never abused. Ever in life, period. I am still susceptible to anything that a human being could be susceptible to, but people don't believe it. So what I'm going to do though, Zaza is saying some things in this video about young women defending themselves. And she does it from a martial arts standpoint, and she does it from a energy standpoint. So I couldn't have said some of the stuff better myself, so I'm going to do fair use, let her say it.
So for all you young women and all you women out there that are scared about what's happening right now, protect yourself, learn a martial art, learn how to protect yourself, absolutely. But know in your spirit and in your mind and in your heart and in your soul, continuously speak positive affirmations to yourself that you're protected.
She says learn a martial art. That's what I say on my channel. You should learn the martial art. And if you want to go, well, what if it was your daughter that did it? You want to try that? My daughter's trained. So what if it was my daughter? I put her in a martial arts class, and that's what I did. I had control over my daughter, so I trained her until she was old enough to not want to do it anymore. But it's still there because she got it from young. So since she got it from young, it's more ingrained than even what I learned because she got it earlier. Now, I did start early, but I didn't reach the level that she reached as early in life as she has. So, like her and my son, they have the potential to go way beyond me if they want to. Now, one thing she's talking about is in terms of your mentality. I'm going to tell you, man, I'm glad I went back and stopped being KRS done just so I could hear the line that sometimes you have to go back to the beginning to learn. I've had to go back to the beginning of my adult years to learn some things that I've had to use to deal with narcissistic attack. And that discipline is yoga. I've had to go back into the yoga that I used to practice. I stopped practicing yoga and just did stretching. I'd stopped even doing the breathing. I never really got into like the cities, but I just did breath and stretching. And really that's really, I think, all you need from yoga: breath, stretching, and maybe energy. So I had to go back into my metaphysical bag. And what she's talking about in terms of expectation, that stuff is true. Because I'm going to tell you, if you expect bad situations, you're more likely to bring them to you. That's not to say that sometimes things are going to happen that are not your fault. They do. Things are going to happen. There are things that can happen in life that just not your control. Things happen. The person is wrong, and that's one thing that martial arts are good for. Something just catches you off guard, and you've got those habits in there. You can go ahead and respond to it. But listen to how she's talking about how things resonate, how the energy, the thoughts, the vibrations that you put out there, and this stuff is in the Bible too, man. If you're always looking at somebody as the enemy, don't be surprised if they respond to you like you're the enemy.
Continuously speak positive affirmations to yourself that there is a divine mind, a divine consciousness, a divine energy that is with you, that is watching you, that is working with you, that is guiding you, that is protecting you at all times. You don't need to be walking around worried. What separates the women who are victims of this madness from the ones who aren't? Is it just their fate? There's a deeper conversation, and I don't want to get too much into that because I don't want anybody to get offended from what I'm saying. I've been through a lot. I've been strung up on a cross, you know what I'm saying, energetically behind some bullshit and a lot of other things that have happened to me. So that could be flipped back on me and said, well, what made you? Because I was energetically out of alignment. So my point is, and I know there's a lot of, you know what I'm saying? If the FBI says there's 3 million pedophiles in America, in your spirit and in your mind and in your heart and in your soul, continuously speak positive affirmations to yourself that you're protected. Continuously speak positive affirmations to yourself that there is a divine mind, a divine consciousness, a divine energy that is with you, that is watching you, that is working with you, that is guiding you, that is protecting you at all times.
The Holy Spirit. Now, I just said to somebody, your crown chakra, your heart chakra, name of the Father and the Son, go across to touch your lungs to remind you to touch your lung points to remind you to bring your breath. And when you bring your hands together, the fold, put some energy in there. You are bringing yourself into balance. And you are reminding yourself to keep your desires above the lower survival, sex, worrisome, stress things. Keep your mind and your desires up here, elevated. That's what I think that is for. The Sound of the Crows.
You don't need to be walking around worried. What separates the women who are victims of this madness from the ones who aren't? Is it just their fate? There's a deeper conversation, and I don't want to get too much into that because I don't want anybody to get offended from what I'm saying. I've been through a lot. I've been strung up on a cross, you know what I'm saying, energetically behind some bullshit and a lot of other things that have happened to me. So that could be flipped back on me and said, well, what made you? Because I was energetically out of alignment. So my point is, and I know there's a lot of, you know what I'm saying? If the FBI says there's 3 million pedophiles in America, we do need to be mindful. Women are being raped every day. We do need to be cautious, but we also need to accept accountability and responsibility, how we move in this world, our expectations of men, how we interact with men, how we see ourselves, how we carry ourselves, the type of content we watch on social media, the type of content we watch online, the type of conversations we have with our friends. There's a deeper level and a deeper conversation about this. Stop being afraid and empower yourself. Peace and love.
Now, there are people that like to, did I say any names? No, I didn't. There are people who like to go around and like to arouse attraction in men to feed their egos. A lot of stuff I've seen on YouTube lately about this. They're saying that they're narcissists. They may all be narcissists. They may not. But whether they're narcissists or not, this is one thing that you can really get yourself in trouble with. I know she wants to go there. Well, I think she wants to go there. I'm not going to put words in her mouth. But I'm going to say this. You cannot control how a man is going to respond to your mind games. So if you were doing mind games on a man to try to arouse attraction just for your ego, and then you don't follow it through with a payoff for him, whatever he wants the payoff to be, you run the risk of being hurt. Physically, or at least getting your feelings hurt, or he may call you names or scream at you or something like that. But you're running the risk of being hurt. Now, that's not, if you want to take it as he's a threat, he's trying to be controlling or anything like that, that's on you. I'm just telling you the truth. I look at it like this. This is the example like a lot of guys like to use. We used to use this back in the day. We used to call it, you could call it like the Shaq example. For example, when Shaquille O'Neal was in his prime, big, large athlete, if I walk up and slap Shaquille O'Neal in the face, and he curb stomps me and beats me into a coma, whose fault is that? That's my fault. But it doesn't even have to be physical. If you say things that are offensive, if a man says something to another man that's really offensive, the man may punch him in the face. If you are trying to arouse feelings and emotions in men just to feed your ego, ladies, and then they don't want to just keep it at flirty, like, nah, I don't want to just flirt. I want to, get a payoff. Then they do, and then you can't handle it because you haven't taken a martial arts class. Whose fault is that? Now, granted, he should be locked up if he does something that you do not consent to. He should be locked up. He should go directly to jail and not collect $200. But you've got to be careful, though. Just like Nobody should break in my house. I should still lock my door, shouldn't I? I'm a big, strong black man who's got this thing cut off, so this is going to be a little jumpy and jargon. Whatever. I'm going to say it again. I'm a big, strong black man, 7th degree black belt, and there are places that even I don't go. There are things that even I don't do. There are ways that even I don't treat people because I am not immortal. Not in body, my soul, yes, but I can get beat down just like anybody else, no matter how much I've trained, and even though I can literally sense people behind me, all that stuff. I still got to be careful how I handle myself and how I act. And if you're a woman, I think that you got to have some. Not that you need to be desperately afraid of men, but just like she says, you got to kind of be mindful of when you're talking to men, because especially, no, I'm not going to put any age. I'll say, well, especially younger ones, but that's not necessarily true. Some older ones could be like that too. Stop. Just know that you're not physically strong as men, and if you want to go around, I look at it like this. Like that lady recently who called someone the N-word and got beat up. If you want to go around playing with people's feelings, take one of my classes so you can at least duck or move out the way, a block or something when they come at you.
In the mall and going into the parking lot. You're being cautious about being out at certain times of night. Okay, I understand that. That's important. You're being cautious about going into certain environments where there are too many men, or you don't have a friend with you, or if you're leaving, if you live in a college campus and you're leaving your dorm room, to make sure you have somebody with you, or walking the path where there's lights and there's phones where you can contact. All of that is important. But we are more spiritual than we are physical. The unseen world has much more power than it has than the physical realm. So you got to be much more cautious when it comes to how you're thinking. Stop promoting fear-based consciousness. If you want to talk about your experience as a woman, as a victim of rape, as a victim of child abuse, as a victim of whatever it is, not just women, but men as well. Talk about the fact that there is divine guidance that's protecting all of us at all times.
Your common sense is part of that divine guidance. So please plug into that. And if you just don't have common sense, remember your tenets: courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, and indomitable spirit. And to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Check out the link to, if I remember, I'm going to put the link to both of her videos, the part 1 and part 2 on this topic. This is one of the best videos that she's ever done, in my opinion. So check it out. It definitely relates to the martial arts. She even mentioned the martial arts because there's one, I think in the first video, she's talking about she's taking Muay Thai. If I can give Zaza Ali some more tips, I'm not going to tell you not to take Muay Thai. Take your Muay Thai too. Study some Jiu-Jitsu or Judo. After you get really good with the Muay Thai, I say after you get a black belt level Muay Thai, then cross-train in Judo Jiu-Jitsu. And then once you get a black belt in that, since it seems like you're going to get on this journey, you got the warrior eyes. So I think you're going to stick with it. I think you're going to be in it like me. You're going to be in it forever. So then after that, take some Western boxing just so you can have some variety. I'm not saying you got to, be a grizzled veteran with a flat nose because you've been punched, Miss Ali. Take some Western boxing too so you can learn some head movements, some good turning movements, and make people swing when they miss when they swing at you. Thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this with people who like to talk about the martial arts. Ladies, listen to Zaza Ali. Fellas, listen to Zaza Ali. And peace. And thank you for your time, as always.